Insert violin music. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the CFCTALK podcast. Well, this is not the best day I would have liked to have been podcasting with you all, and at least I'm really glad to have my usual co-host Amart. And I know many of you will be asking where's our star of the show in Mohammad, but trust, he'll be back. I think for our next episode against Porto, which hopefully will have a better tone than this one, because there's no other better way to describe it. We conceded 5 goals to West Brom. Sorry, I don't even know why this is so funny. We talked about the game already, but before we recorded. But yeah, just saying that out loud again is that we conceded 5 goals to West Brom, and they weren't 5 sloppy or cagey goals to concede. They were really good goals to concede. And yeah, just pretty insane. We made West Brom look like 2012 Barcelona, essentially, and Sam Allardyce has done it again. Once again, Amart, thank you very much for coming on again, and where we can kind of ramble on for a little bit of time about our West Brom performance and some of the bad points, or 1 or 2 good points perhaps, and then we can kind of go on to the Porto game, where I hope there's still hope yet for our season, even though, I mean, we go on there and beat and run, but we've kind of hit a bit of a bump in the road, don't you think?
This is to me, I think this is more than a bump in the road. This is like a car crash. because
I've still got whiplash. I've still got some whiplash from this crash.
We had only conceded 2 goals under Tuchel before this game, and then in one game we conceded 5 goals straight up, and that's just crazy. That's not a hurdle. That's not a bump in the road. That's a car crash. That's a serious car crash, and I just hope we can recover against Porto. That's all. But yeah, man, this game was very, very weird. Like from the beginning, our passing was off, everything was off, and I just don't know. Like the performances, it didn't look like a game we could win in the beginning. To be honest, it didn't look like a game we could win comfortably or anything. And when that first Pulisic goal went in, we were like a bit relieved. But when Thiago Silva got the card there, then that was when everything just went haywire, and we're on the back foot for most of the game. So yeah, it will be an interesting discussion today, but not looking forward to it. But we have to pull through.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's also weird that I think the last time we recorded was 2 weeks ago now. So getting back into it with a result like this, right, is It's a jump in the deep end. It's a difficult one to do. But yeah, I mean, there's no other way to say anything about it. Sam Johnston, the goalkeeper for West Brom, got an assist. And I think I saw all these tweets coming out of rival fan bases of Sam Johnston has more goals and assists against the top 6 than Bruno Fernandes. Which is quite funny, but yeah. They were just brilliant. At the end of the day, we got so unlucky with that card. I mean, to be fair, not unlucky. Unlucky is the wrong word. At the end of the day, we just made so many mistakes first half, and we were talking about it before the pod, and it's like at the end of the day, Jorginho and Kovacic first half were just offered absolutely nothing and gave away huge mistakes, which led to Thiago Silva's both of Thiago Silva's cards and also the West Brom second goal. And that kind of really set us up for second half, where we were really trying to get back into the game and just ended up being really open, weren't we? Just kind of, lots of space on the edge of the box, particularly when they tried to put in crosses, and got a few goals from that.
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to sound passionate.
I mean, like the first half, like I said in the beginning, we started very poorly. I think we had one chance. I think Pulisic took a shot that went wide in the first half, at least the use of the first half. But still, like, our passes were off. We had I think 2 counter attacks where we could have made good use with it, and then but Ziyech's passing was poor. Like, he couldn't find Werner on both occasions, and it just ended up going straight to the goalkeeper, and our counter attack was just cut short. And I think, like you said, the 2 yellow cards that I don't know what's the second one, is the second yellow or straight red. I can't remember. I think it was straight red. The Thiago Silva second card, was it a second yellow or straight red?
Second yellow.
Okay.
It was the second. I think it was second yellow, and yeah.
So those two cards.
I don't want to use this platform to kind of. Oh, sorry. Go on. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that those 2 cards, like, they came as a result of Jorginho losing the ball, and Jorginho lost the ball twice, and then Thiago Silva had to take care of it. But yeah, I think he didn't really make the right decision the first time or the second time. I don't think he made the best decisions to take to win the ball off the West Brom defender. And the thing too is that both times they got a free kick in dangerous situations, which if they were putting those free kicks away, they could have been up by 2 goals earlier on. But it didn't happen for them. So I mean, the second yellow was definitely deserved. So I saw some tweets of people like blaming the referee and all that. The referee, the referee in the game was pretty poor in the second half, very, very poor in the second half. But I think those decisions he made regarding Thiago Silva was kind of spot on, because I don't think any other referee would have gone any other way, because the second one, definitely VAR would have checked that. If a referee didn't give it, the VAR would have checked that, and they would have ended up giving him the red card, because the way he lunged at the West Brom player was a bit weird. I don't know. Usually, players just stand there and try to block. They go down and try to block the shot or something. But he, in his attempt, I've seen that also happen before. I think Terry has done that a couple of times, but I think the way he just lunged onto the player, and then the player also added a little bit of theatrics to it, and yeah, that was definitely a red card. It wasn't a good start in the first half.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think VAR is not allowed to intervene on these kind of things, because it's a second yellow instead of a straight red. So yeah, it just kind of weren't going to get out of it. And it was I think it was a deserved second yellow. The issue I have with this, and I don't like to use this platform or whatever to berate referee performances and talk about decisions, but it was just I think there was something similar to the Thiago Silva yellow card about 5 minutes earlier, where Timo Werner put in a cross and then got a football boot to the leg or to the ankle, pretty much. And the ball had been played already, but for some reason, no foul was given, no penalty was given, and yeah, just a bit of it. It just felt that there were a lot of decisions in the game for both ways, for West Brom and Chelsea, that just weren't really happening. So I guess it kind of evened out in the end. But first half, other things I could think of, I mean, my initial thoughts when Christensen came on after we had Thiago Silva sent off, were finally a challenge for Christensen. Finally, he can add West Brom to Christensen Penitentiary, and with a nice extra challenge for him. But nope, this one was a little too great for him. And even after he came on first half, we did well, I think, to kind of ride it out after the sending off. But they just kind of hit us in the in extra time. And like you said as well, I completely agree on the Jorginho front, and that they were just giving away they gave away the ball for both the card that led to both the cards and also then the second goal. So yeah, just really not good enough from Jorginho today, and it's sad to say, but yeah, it was a really truly awful performance. And against Porto, when we think about like carrying a bit of a monologue here, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's weird to say. It's weird to talk about it because I mean, we've had 14 games or so where that partnership has worked really well, and then do you then go and drop it after? Do you go and then just change it after one really awful performance, or do you give them the chance to put it right? Because I think a lot of people would like to see Gilmore get the chance, and I mean, if we weren't going to give him the chance against Porto in the Champions League quarterfinals, then you would give him against West Brom, but evidently, I think the number six, the kind of pecking order of the number sixes is quite well defined, and even against West Brom, it still applies.
Yeah, exactly. Like I haven't really been. I know you guys know me. I haven't really been a fan of the Kovacic Jorginho partnership. Like it has worked. It has worked well for us though, but I don't think. I always see that it works perfectly against teams that don't really pressure us. Like they don't really attack. They come to defend. If they decide to sit back, a Kovacic Jorginho partnership would work perfectly fine. But with teams that that play against us and they have the intention of scoring or trying to attack us or trying to get goals against us, those kind of teams, I don't think Jorginho and Kovacic is the best. Like with teams like that, Kante is always the better option. Like putting Kante in is always, and I understand why he didn't play Kante, probably resting him for the Porto game, and like the same thing with Giroud and some other players as well, probably resting them for the Porto game. But yeah, I haven't really been a fan of the Kovacic Jorginho, and I think anybody follows me on Twitter would know I haven't really been a fan of that. I love Jorginho, I love Kovacic, but like I don't know, sometimes against high pressing teams, they don't do well. It's sometimes seems like Jorginho. Sorry, sometimes seems like Kovacic does more work than Jorginho, and Jorginho is the one supposed to be doing the Kante job, like the one supposed to be sweeping up mistakes and supposed to be stopping attacks, but he gets undone very, very easily, and I think that's where the problem is. So with the two of them, I don't think it's the way forward. The Kante Kovacic partnership, I don't think it's the way forward. I think the way forward is the Kovacic Jorginho partnership. The way forward is the Kante Kovacic partnership. I want to see more of that, and you could see some of the flaws that happened today because not only the two cards that not only were the two cards that Thiago Silva had caused by Jorginho's mistakes in the middle, but like you said, the second goal as well. I don't know what they were trying to do, him and Reese, and then they lost possession. And the third goal too as well. Their third goal as well. Jorginho missed his man, and then they came forward attacking, and then I think Mount also missed the pass that came in afterwards for the player that eventually crossed to whoever scored the goal. So I don't know. It's a dodgy one for me, but I'll always prefer the Kante Kovacic partnership.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying, and it's like I mean, we've even seen a couple of good performances in this run against high pressing teams, like against Liverpool. Kovacic and Jorginho worked extremely well, I thought, but it's definitely in games where we're on the back foot. And there's no greater back foot than when you have a man sent off in the 30th minute, and you're going to be on the back foot for the 60 minutes. That's when it just isn't going to work out for you. And I mean, I didn't see much difference in the level of pressure that Liverpool put on the pair compared to today. And it's just today, just way more mistakes. At the end of the day, that's what it came down to. They just made so many mistakes, and I'm worried because I think Kante is not even available. I think Tuchel ruled out Kante for the first leg of the Porto game. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether Tuchel goes with the same midfield partnership, even though it clearly, like, Jorginho at least really does not deserve to start against Porto, clearly. So, do you put Gilmour in? Do you go and play Gilmour, Kovacic, or perhaps even Mount Kovacic?
For me personally, I prefer. I would definitely play Gilmour. I don't think Gilmour can. I don't think Gilmour is afraid of any team or any. I think he can play against any team, no matter the level, whether it's a high priority game or a low priority game. He can still perform, and for some reason, Tuchel doesn't really trust him in that midfield. I think he said it earlier on when he joined us. I think he said um, he said something about Billy Gilmour's stature. Like he really isn't like built for that kind of role or something. He made a comment about his stature, and I don't know whether you noticed, but the last game that we played, I think we played against Sheffield United, right? And if you saw Gilmour, you could see that Gilmour has gained a little bit of weight. I don't know that you noticed, but I think he has become a little bit buffer or bigger. So I think Gilmour is working on it. And even when he was slimmer, he was still making things difficult for other players around him. So if he's hitting the gym, then definitely he'll become better. So for me, I'll definitely put Gilmour in. I don't think Mount will be the best playing next to Kovacic, because it means that Mount will be doing the Kante work, or one of them will be doing the Kante work, and I don't know whether he can do that. I think he can, but probably might be depriving him of his attacking qualities. That's what makes him the best player in the team, in my opinion. Like, he defends as well, but his attack, like, he helps us a lot. Even today, he scored a goal. I know that goal should have been a Werner goal, but I mean, Werner made the right decision and then he put it in a plate for Mount. So, but yeah, like, to answer your question, I'll definitely go with Gilmour, but I don't know whether Tuchel will do that. But for me, I'll do that. I think Chelsea should come and hire me for that game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I definitely would be really surprised if they go with the same partnership as they did today against Porto. But yeah, like you say, I think Mount needs to be used further forward. So if Gilmour's up to it, then absolutely Gilmour needs to be in there. He's number 4. He's an option for a reason, and Kante's out. So and Jorginho's had an awful performance. So I want him back. I'd like to see him in, and if not, then I'd like to expect a huge reaction performance from Jorginho, and in some ways Kovacic too. I mean, that's kind of getting more to second half talk, where Kovacic second half, then we're both in agreement, although some people on Twitter weren't, that Kovacic in the second half, he really raised his game. I thought, especially when Jorginho kind of came off and Jorginho? What am I talking about here? Sorry. Kovacic was playing a little bit more deeper between the centre backs. And yeah, he just he was dribbling through players, playing nice ball passes, essentially just kind of bossing, moving, really bringing the play from the defence to the midfield and attack. But it would have been nice to see that from the start from him, and I think that's kind of why he still warrants. If we don't do ratings on the CFCTALK podcast anymore, but he'd still get a pretty low one just because his first half performance was still pretty poor. So, but I mean, is there anything else do you think we missed from the first half, or can we? It's not really a more positive side, is it? We conceded more goals in the second half than we did in the first. But I don't think we missed anything from the first half.
I don't want to go back, but the Liverpool game, it was Jorginho and Conte that were paired in the middle, not Jorginho and Kovacic. So probably that was why Jorginho did very well in that game, because he had Conte there to be doing his work, and then Jorginho had the freedom to move forward. So yeah, I think the game. I think we should acknowledge Christian Pulisic's goal as well. It was a very, very good very good free kick from Alonso. I thought it went in, and then Christian with the follow up. I think that was probably the only positive we can take from the first half. I was happy. I was happy for him to score. I think that's his second Premier League goal this season. So at least it's built his confidence a bit. But in a poor game like today's, I don't know. I don't know whether it will do much, but at least he scored. So going forward, I wouldn't mind seeing him start against Porto though, because I think he had a good performance today before he went off.
It's interesting we talk about Pulisic because I saw some stuff on Twitter. There was a video I think brought up by NBC where I think Pulisic, because he got subbed off at half time and for Mount. And I think that was actually because Pulisic was coming out of the tunnel. He dribbled around. Not dribbled. Didn't have a ball. He ran around some cones, and then he signaled to Tuchel to come off, pointing at his hamstring. So, I mean, to be fair, after that first off performance, I'd be happy to see I'd be happy to see him start against Porto. But I think, to be fair, I would probably play Mount instead, and then Ziyech. And we'll get into our we'll get into our lineups and all that in a bit. But yeah, I think there was some injury issues coming up again. And I'd be interested to see if any of the reporters bring that up in the next press conference, because he came out of the tunnel about to go on, and then something pointed to his hamstring. So I'm starting to get a little bit, and there was some I think Twitter accounts that we both follow that were saying similar, that it's starting to get a bit worrying with Pulisic. That, I mean, yes, got the goal, it's great, of course, but it's getting a little bit frustrating that these consistent injury issues come up, and he'll like have a good half of football and then go and have 8 or 9 games either on the sidelines or on the injury bench. On the bench or on the injury sidelines, and it's like, what do you think of it? It's a bit. I'm a little bit unsure on my stance on Pulisic, because I want him to succeed, but his injury issues are frustrating.
It's definitely frustrating, and I think if it wasn't for the fact that he had a very, very good season last, he had very, very good performances last season, I'm pretty sure a lot of Chelsea fans would be slating him by now.
Yeah, I agree on Pulisic. It's a tricky one, but I mean, there are some fans calling for him to kind of be sold just because we've had these issues for so long with Pulisic ever since he's come to the club. But I do think there's still a player in there, and that he still needs the chance for this season and hopefully beyond, just to kind of really get his act together and cut out the injuries. But we'll never know on that one. But other than that, I mean, I thought, thinking of other things that were in the first half, I think Ziyech was Ziyech wasn't the best from what he did. I think there was that one cross that he put into Alonso that the West Brom right back did really, really well to clear. I think it was going to go straight. It was going straight to Alonso's head. So, but other than that, Ziyech didn't really do much. So I guess good decision.
I think
to bring him off.
I think he also had some misplaced passes too as well in the beginning of the first half. Like I said earlier, like we had some counter-attacking opportunities where, like, we just needed that final pass to be able to move forward, but he puts 2 of those passes wide. So yeah, I don't think he was having a good game, but I think he was coming into the game before the red card happened. Like, he was coming into it because he was putting in like the one you were talking about, the cross to Alonso, and I think he put another one in for Ver now. I don't know whether that was Reece James or I don't know, but I think he was coming into the game a bit, and then the red card happened, and then we had to go into defense mode, and he was sacrificed.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got from the first half. Now, get into the second, I think.
the nightmare half.
The nightmare half. Oh man, I think we just a little bit, maybe not burning out, but just so lackadaisical, things just not clearing balls and just being unaware. Really, I mean, there were good goals, to be fair, especially the one where they crossed the ball into the edge of the box. There's no one there marking them, which is a bit of a shame, and ultimately lies on the responsibility on the job of Kovacic and Jorginho to be covering those spaces on the edge of the box. It went there, and he just had a free man to kind of place a really good finish, to be fair, into the top right corner with a volley. But at the end of the day, it's West Brom. We made them look like really amazing footballers with some of the goals they scored. Yeah, it's just not much to talk about, really. I mean, it's nice that Werner got the assist to least. Mount, good to see Mount get a goal, but
yeah. I mean, what did you think about Mendy's performance? Because I don't know, I felt like, is it the second one or the third one? The third one, I felt like he should have done better, but I can't really blame him because the defenders in front of him gave him a really, really tough job to do. But
yeah, they did. They did, I think, especially the one where Sam Johnston gets an assist, where they kind of where I think the attacker just kind of chips the ball over Mendy.
Yeah.
Was a bit like the defenders should be really getting onto that and not allowing it to get all the way through. And then there's the one where they chip the ball over. I think that was the fifth one is where they chip the ball over Mendy's head. Where he comes this is one thing with Mendy. He's not the best at coming out.
Yeah.
Of goal.
Yeah.
I don't think. He's very good at saving shots when he's at his goal line, and it just seems like that's his thing. That's his thing. He can really do, and he can do really well. But whenever it comes to coming out, there's just been a lot of goals we've conceded with him. To be fair, we haven't conceded that many goals, but when we do, it's like a lot of them seem to be when Mendy's coming out. I mean, he's made mistakes when he's come out. I think it was Everton earlier in the season where he conceded the penalty for rushing out and catching Richarlison, I think it was. And also, I mean, it wasn't really his fault, but the Rudiger one against Sheffield, the own goal, was again from Mendy coming out. So it's not really his fault, that one, to be fair. But yeah, it just seems like it's a bit of an uncomfortable thing. It's not his strength.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really think Mendy's. It wasn't really his fault to stay. At the end of the day, the whole team made it extremely difficult for him by not covering the spaces. The third goal was just unstoppable, and I think if we go through the goals, trying to remember some of them. One of them was, I think the second one was like the guy shot and it was to Mendy's left, and there were about 4 Chelsea players in the way, so there's no way Mendy's going to react to that.
The Chelsea players blocked his view. They did.
Yeah.
And none of them was able to block that shot. That was even more shocking.
Exactly. That was crazy. That was crazy. There were so many of them there, and he managed to streak it in or just kind of.
I think they weren't expecting it low. They weren't expecting that shot to be low. They were expecting it to be a high shot or something.
Far corner.
Yeah, and I think was it Pereira or he did very, very well. I mean, his performance was very good. I think he had 2 goals and an assist on the day. So.
And 2 assists, 2 goals, 2 assists.
2 assists. Wow.
And it was crazy. Yeah. So he scored both the goals in first half extra time, which is pretty crazy.
When he was going for a hat trick, I was just sitting behind the team. I was like, the nerve of this guy to try and get a hat trick against Chelsea. I was so annoyed, man. Like you could see, he really wanted a hat trick. He really, really wanted a hat trick.
Yeah.
Even after the second goal, I think he struck the bar once. I think the first half he struck the bar, and the second half too, he took a shot where that Mendy saved. So this guy was really, really fighting for a hat trick, but man, I think he will get the man of the match if he did it. I think he will get the man of the match.
Yeah, for sure. I think. Although Sam Johnston, I think, with getting an assist from goalkeeper, it's pretty good for him too. But yeah, that was quite surprising.
And he also made a couple of good saves as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I think there was a Mount one at the end there where he saved near post. Right? I think there was a right near post.
Yeah, there was a volley one. There was a volley one where I can't remember if it was Mount or Alonso, where they hit a volley and it deflected off, I think, O'Shea or Bartley. It could have been one of the defenders, and then hit the post.
I think it was Alonso. It deflected off. I think the Nigerian defender. I've forgotten his name, but it deflected off him, and then it hit the post. It was Alonso. I think at that time we were 2-1 down. Yeah, so we could have gone 2-2 or something, but I don't know. It just wasn't working. I think Reece also had a good shot in the beginning of the first half where he just he struck it straight to the keeper. I don't know why he did it, but there was so much power. There was so much power behind that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then the subs. I mean, it was Mount definitely made an impact. I think it's just such a shame that he got used so much in the international break that when he's come back, we've not been able to start him. And yeah, I'm really hoping we'll get into Porto in a bit, but definitely want to see definitely want to see as many of our players who are on form play. And yeah, I mean, Mount did really great when he came on. At least actually had some impact. Although there was still a little bit. I think there was a mistake or two from him for the. I think it was the fourth.
No, I think that was the third goal. The one where he missed. I think there was a pass that came through to the. I've forgotten the West Brom's striker's name, but he was the one who
Diagna.
Yeah. So the pass that came to him first, I think Mount missed it because he was supposed to stop it. He was supposed to intercept it, but he kind of didn't time it well, and it passed by him, and then the player got it and crossed the ball, and they scored. And I think probably that. I don't know whether he made any other mistakes, but I think the whole team as a whole, I don't know. I think the game was just lost after the red card.
Yeah, it really was. I think it was just a huge uphill battle after that, and combined at the end of the day, that combined with disaster classes, at least the first half disaster class from Jorginho and Kovacic, and then second half we just kind of ran out of steam and lost focus. I mean, that I didn't really. It couldn't be summed up better than the fifth goal, where they just kind of play a simple ball in behind, and Zuma just has completely lost track of the man behind him, and then they just go and chip the ball for Mendy. So yeah, I think in the second half we just kind of lost. It's a bit of a theme that I think lots of Chelsea managers have talked about, and about how weak mentally we are, and we don't really when we find ourselves behind, we have a reaction, but we never have enough guts, and we don't never have enough drive to completely turn it around and get a win out of, say, whenever we've come behind. I genuinely cannot remember the last time where we've been seriously down, not they've scored a lucky goal, but say being 2 goals behind or something. Or I mean, maybe that's a bit of a stretch because we barely conceded.
I think the last time that happened was the West Brom away game this season, because they went 3-0 up, and then and I think that is what differentiates the youth players and then the regular players that are in the team, because the youth players, because they are Chelsea through and through, they want to prove themselves as well, and they know what it means for the club. I think usually whenever we are trying to stage a comeback, the youth players are often behind it, and I don't know that it's something that the regular players have to learn. I can't tell why they don't do that, but the first game we played against West Brom this season, it was Callum, Mount, and Tammy who staged the comeback. They were the people who brought it back to 3-3. And this time, I honestly didn't see where the goals were coming from. The effort wasn't there. Where Werner couldn't beat his first man. I don't know. The issues for me mainly resides in attack. I know the defense was bad today, but I think the defense would be better in the next game. But I think especially when we have probably Christensen, Rudiger, and Aspi back again, the previous 3 back again, we could do something. And even Thiago Silva wasn't even that bad. I think Thiago Silva was very, very solid in defense till he went off. So I think it's Zuma, like everybody says, the Zuma can't really perform well in a three back, and I think today it was very, very evident that he couldn't do that. So I don't know. I think Rudiger has to come back. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rudiger has to come back, and then Christensen also, and then Aspi. So we go back to our clean sheet days.
Yeah, it was a real shocker for me to see. Like after Christensen's not, he hadn't conceded any goals for club or country in like I think it was 7 or 9 hours of football, and then he comes in today off the bench and concedes 3. But I'm really hoping. Like I think that the really important thing here is to get the reaction and to show that there's still hope for the season. Like I mean, I'm not the best person to say, keep believing, because so many times this season already I've given up on top 4, and then the belief has come back again once the teams around us start losing. So it's not like, yes, lots of dire performances, and even the second half where it's still the same Chelsea of the past 3 years where we've not been that great. We've not been great when trying to come back from being down, but I do still think that there's still hope, because at the end of the day, everyone around us still has to play each other, and all other teams will have shocker results like this. And as my housemate Frederick said today, at least we didn't concede 7. Cough, Liverpool. Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
always a positive.
Yeah, it's always a positive, definitely, because they have set the bar very, very high this season. So we we definitely can't beat that.
Yeah, that's going to take some serious. Maybe when we play Man City in the no. I think we'll give City a good fight when the time comes for both the Premier League game and the FA Cup semi-final. But I mean, thinking about other things in the second half.
The second half was a West Brom show, and I don't really feel like talking about West Brom doing well in the second half. I mean, we can talk about Sam Allardyce pretending as if that was his plan all along. He was
big man.
He was so quiet when the Christians goal, when Pulisic's goal went in. He was quiet and he was very, very worried. And when they started scoring, he was how to say it? He was energetic and started behaving as if
it was all him. It was his
plan all along.
He did a tactical masterclass on Chelsea today, lining up with his expertly crafted 5-4-1, playing great attacking football. Yeah, just.
I think I was.
Who knew this?
I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't really think the managers had anything to do with it, because if you think about it, the first game we played against them and they went 3-0 up, it was a different manager. It wasn't Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce came in later on the season, right? I think they sacked their manager and brought Sam later on. Am I right? Or I don't remember Sam being there in the first leg. And then we played. Are you checking it?
Sorry, check what again? Sorry.
No, I mean, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was the credit has to go to the managers, because I just feel like the West Brom players have some kind of agenda towards Chelsea. They want to beat us at all costs, because the first leg that we played, I remember it wasn't Sam Allardyce. I think it was a different manager that they sacked, and they brought Sam Allardyce in later on. I'm not sure about that, but I don't remember Sam Allardyce being there in the first leg. So yeah, I think it's the players, especially Robinson. Robinson just has, I don't know whether he wants us to sign him. I don't want us to sign him or what, but after scoring 5 goals against Chelsea, there's no way you're going to get signed.
We need to sign him for his I think he only has 5 Premier League goals to his name, and all 5 have come against Chelsea. And there's also so we need to buy him, and we need to buy the Sheffield United
McGoldrick,
yes. The R9 Sheffield United R9 Ronaldo in David McGoldrick. who's just like that man. I think all Chelsea fans in the Sheffield United game 2 weeks ago, we just any time this guy got the ball, it was just pure nerves. We know what he can do if he wants
He
to.
even almost had had a chance where he nearly scored, but he missed it.
Yeah. It's like the curse is over. But
it reminds me of players like Chicharito. Anytime Chicharito played against Chelsea, he had to score a goal. He definitely that guy. I really hated that guy when he was at United.
Yeah, he would always against
any game. Like it was crazy. Anytime, not even starting the game. Like if he even came for like 5 minutes towards the end, he would still manage to score a goal against Chelsea. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, it was always clutch ones as well because he would always come off on the bench, and he would just absolutely.
Fortunately, when he went to West Ham, that curse was broken and he left. So
his magic, his juju was gone.
It was gone.
It rubbed it all. He used it all up at Manchester United and didn't have any left. It
went with Fergie. Fergie was the one who gave him the juju when he left also.
Yeah.
Man.
Is there anything else? If we could do a poll, I wish we could do a poll to our viewers from the future of do you want us to stop talking about West Brom? And I wonder what the results would be for this poll.
I think it would be 90-10. 90-10. Please stop talking about
that. 90-10 for stop talking about West Brom.
Talking about West Brom. I mean, I think that's all. But like good performance from them. So like at least let me put that out there. I don't want us to kind of blame Chelsea players for being poor, but the West Brom players were also very, very good. I mean, they were, like you said, they were prime Barcelona. Their passing was way better than ours. Their defending was way better. Their counter attacks was also very solid. Like I know we went down 10 by a man. We were a man down at the first half, but like that alone shouldn't have made us collapse like we did. But we collapsed and then they took full advantage. They exploited the spaces in between the defense and they used it very, very well. So I mean, congrats for them. They did well, but I mean, we have to get back. We have to get back on the horse. We have to start winning and start with Porto.
Thankfully, West Brom. I mean, I think they're 7 points from safety at the moment. So hopefully they go down, and hopefully Bournemouth don't come back up. So we have no juju teams to come up against next season.
Bournemouth are in a good position to return to the Premier League, right?
I think that there's two. I think they're in the playoffs. So Norwich and Watford are pretty much guaranteed they're going to go up. But Bournemouth, they're 7th in the Championship at the moment. So I think they're going to go. Or there might be a chance that they don't make it into the playoffs, but hopefully they don't. But then we'll have no juju team or magic, but no unfortunate magic teams that we have to come up against. But I think that's all we've got. I mean, anything else from the second half? I can't. I'm quite glad to kind of get into the Porto game.
Nah, nothing. I think we can move straight into the Porto game and just put this game behind us.
Put it behind us and run. We're running. We're running to Porto already. We'll buy the flights. We got the flights already, and we're running away from West Brom.
I mean, the good thing about today's game is that at least like this, the red card was the issue. Like we can clearly tell that the red card disoriented most of the Chelsea players. I don't know what they didn't know what to do after a red card or not. So at least Porto can look at anything and say that we are going to capitalize on this, because there's no way we are going to start that game with 10 men. We are going to start with 11 men. So we are going to go back to how we're playing. So I don't think there's an issue or a strategy that they can pinpoint and say West Brom did it this way, so let's attack using this. So at least we can say that that's one positive that we can get. It was a red card that gave them the chance, not any mistake or in tactics.
Hopefully it won't be the same like that for Porto, and we'll be able to talk about our good performances. I mean, because Thiago Silva, I think he'll be available for. I mean, considering he only played 27 minutes today, he should be quite fresh for the Porto game. So, I mean, that makes our lineup a bit easier, maybe. But I don't know. Would you start Thiago Silva, or do you think we need to kind of add Porto to Christensen penitentiary again?
No,
or not again?
I will start Thiago Silva. I will definitely start Thiago Silva. I think today he made some errors. I think West Brom is his bogey team. Like he can't do right against West Brom. The first game he gave away a goal. He gave away a faulty pass that led to their first goal. And then with this one he has got a red card. So that I think moving forward we shouldn't play him against West Brom ever. So as long as it's not West Brom, I think Porto will be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's this Porto team. They aren't pushovers. They knocked out Juventus, and they definitely have danger men. But I think the guy, I can't remember his name. The player who scored the free kick and another goal in the second leg against Juventus. He's not available for the first leg of this game.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's less or they'll be less good hopefully. But yeah, it is a big one. At the end of the day, I think many Chelsea fans were celebrating, or myself included, we were all celebrating that we got like an easier half of the draw compared to Man City. So it would be quite ironic to get knocked out now after celebrating that time. So yeah, I do think, and I think probably say similar that, yeah, we've really got to start out well. It's the away leg, but we're playing in the same stadium. So just getting the away goals full stop, just because we're playing first, it'll just be good to know what we have to kind of do for the second half. Sorry, for the second tie, as long as we get a positive result in this game.
Yeah, I mean, did you talk about? Did you talk about the venue? We'll be playing the same stadium, so.
I mentioned it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear. So,
okay.
So it will be like there wouldn't be any advantage for either team. So we'll both go in playing on a neutral ground, and we know what happens at a neutral ground. Last season, we experienced a bit, and we saw what Barcelona also experienced last season in neutral ground. So it might go either way. We don't have home support. Like we usually don't have home support because of COVID, but like at least being on your home turf gives you a small advantage. But with this is difficult. And then I want to go back to the Porto Juve game. Yes, they were able to knock out Juventus, but Juventus weren't the best, especially in the second leg. Like they were really shocking. They didn't play very well, and then that wall they put up at the end there was just shocking. Like that goal they conceded from the free kick just showed the importance of putting a man down behind the wall there. Like you see, usually when people take free kicks nowadays, they lie down and then they lie behind the wall. And the defenders didn't do that. The Porto defenders didn't do that. And the guy who took the free kick, he played it low and he scored. And I think that was the goal that knocked them out or something like that. But they were shocking in the first half. In the second leg, I didn't watch the first leg, so I can't really talk about the first leg. But the second leg, they were shocking. And I think if we are able to perform like the way we were performing before the international break, I think we'll do well. I think we can come out of this. I don't want us to underestimate Porto at all, but I think today I even saw a message. I saw a tweet today. Somebody was commenting on the lineup, and then somebody said, "This lineup is good to face West Brom," and somebody replied to it saying that shouldn't underestimate West Brom at all, and then this happened. So we should learn a lesson and not underestimate any team at all as Chelsea fans, because anything can happen. But there are so many things happening this season that is similar to the season that we won, the Champions League, that it just feels like it's written in the stars. And it would be fantastic if we won the Champions League this season, but it would be a tough hill to climb.
I think there's a huge thread on Twitter done by CFCTALK on all of the coincidences from 2012 and this year, and it's just ridiculous. I think there's some like our last loss against West Brom was in 2012. Our last, and it was on the 3rd of the month in 2012. And today is the 3rd of the month.
Same thing.
And Di Matteo's win record after 14 games is the same as Tuchel's. Our top scorer in the Champions League in 2012 has 6 goals, who was 34 years old. Our Champions League top scorer this season is 34 years old and has 6 goals. So it's just all these crazy little things. But I mean, it's also that I was just going to mention that the like you said about the neutral venue, that it's in it's at the Sevilla stadium that Sevilla play in, the one where Giroud scored 4 goals. So to him, it's not a neutral venue. To him, it's his home. It's his training ground.
Then he needs to start. He needs to start because he knows every corner of that net. So
yeah, maybe it's something about that pitch. Perhaps something to do with the Sevilla pitch as well that would be a little bit beneficial to us. I don't know. I'll say that, and then we'll lose 5-2 again. But still, maybe
hopefully we don't, because like it would be very great if we won, because now the Chelsea ladies are also on the path to winning. I think it's the first time they've got into the semi-final, so they are also almost there. I think this is the only trophy missing from Emma Hayes' cabinet. Sorry, I'm talking about the Chelsea ladies, but I mean, imagine how it would be if the Chelsea ladies won the UEFA Champions League and the Chelsea men also won the Champions League, man. I mean, London will be truly
blue.
But I get what you mean. That would be so cool. Imagine a joint trophy parade where you have the women's and the men's team together parading their respective Champions League trophies. That would be amazing. So
yeah,
I'm
exactly,
really hoping for that.
Exactly.
And
I guess there's this kind of feeling with Chelsea fans that like we can win it this season, but I mean the other teams are also very, very, very good. I mean Bayern Munich, PSG, Dortmund, who is still in Real Madrid, Liverpool, City. Man, it's going to be very, very tough. Very, very, very tough.
It is. I think we can. I'll start. I still see it. I'm not really seriously thinking about the possibility of us even competing for it yet. I'll start thinking about it. I think once we're playing in the first tie or the first leg of the semi-finals, and we learn about if we're playing Liverpool or Real Madrid, and if they're actually playing well, or if we're getting dominated, or if we're dominating, then I'll start to kind of think about it a bit more. But right now, I still see this as just we need to be there. We need to be in that position to fight against Liverpool or Real Madrid.
Yeah.
To get that place in the tournament that we've not been to in 9 years. So yeah, it's still a huge game. It's the biggest game of these 2 games against Porto will be huge, and we've not played a game of that significance in the Champions League since 2014. So yeah, it'll be a new experience for a lot of the guys. But I trust in Giroud. I think we all trust in Giroud but also Tammy. I really do want to see Tammy at least get an appearance off the bench and maybe even start, because at the end of the day, I just don't want. I don't know. I'm just not happy with Timo Werner at the moment. He has great pace and he's doing some things right, but he's just not confident goal scorer at the moment, and that showed in the second goal that he scored, that our number 9 isn't scoring a ball across the box and playing it back to Mount to score it instead. He's just not confident, and in the Champions League, we need someone who's in that team to prove a point. And I think Giroud still needs to prove a point. I mean, to other clubs as well as to Chelsea, to secure, and also to other people. I mean, to secure his place at the Euros. So Tammy also has a huge point to prove. So I want to see one of them start for sure. And just want to just really place a good marker down, and also to kind of get us to maybe show if our loss today isn't going to be a repeat of the situation where we lost to Everton, and then all the blocks kind of tumbling down for Lampard. Let's hope that doesn't happen again, and for under Tuchel.
Yeah, I don't really see that happening again, because I don't think the players would go through it. I think they will see their mistake, and probably Tuchel. I think Tuchel can turn things around. I think he can. And like I said, it wasn't really a fault of like a tactical issue. I don't think it was a tactical issue that led us down today. I think it was more of a player performance, and then a red card also added to it. So if the players can regain the performances they had before today's game, I think we'll be all right, because I think the tactics will still work. The same tactics worked against Liverpool, against Atletico Madrid. I think it will work with Porto as well, but the players just need to be on their A game. That's it. And like you said, Giroud, I'll prefer Giroud starting for that game as well. And Ziyech too. We can't really rule out Ziyech in the Champions League game. He was very good against Atletico the last time around. So I don't know whether if he performs the Champions League alone and doesn't perform the Premier League, that's okay by me. If we win the Champions League all the time, then that's fine.
I think that's one of the if we had a CFCTALK bingo, then I think one of them would be Ziyech always raises his levels for the Champions League, because we say it and it's true. Yeah, he's always played great. I mean, Atletico Madrid in the second leg got that really crucial goal, and absolutely trust him to play against Porto. And I don't know what it is about him. He just kind of always raises his level and just treats it like a different competition. But maybe also it's the style of play that also kind of suits his game a little bit more than Premier League football. So
or probably he wants to win the Champions League trophy more than any other trophy. So he plays very well. He was in Amsterdam. I think Ajax was winning almost every other trophy in the country, and then so I think it was the Champions League that was left for them. So when he was playing for Ajax, like Champions League was their priority. So I think that's what he has brought to Chelsea as well. I know most players. I remember those days with Drogba and ACN and Lampard and those guys. Anytime they played in the Champions League, they were completely different from when they played in the Premier League. And I think that was also the same with Liverpool as well. We had very, very good games with Liverpool in the Champions League. Very, very good nights with Liverpool and Man United and those players. So, like, you can tell that the Champions League means a lot more to players than the regular Premier League, FA Cup, and all those games. So you can see with Ziyech, he has taken it to a different level, because his performances are miles better and way, way better than his performances in the Premier League. And I think that's just because of the importance of the Champions League. It's like playing the World Cup. Like, players play very, very well. They bring their A game to the World Cup, but when they're playing the regular continental trophies or qualifiers or whatever it is, they don't really perform at that level, because the importance or the level of the trophy or the competition isn't really there for them. And this one, I think that's it with Ziyech. He takes it very, very seriously.
Yeah, couldn't put it better. I really couldn't put it better. It's the highest level of club football that there is, and just some people just really turn it up for it. And I'm all here for it, as long as he can carry Chelsea to the next leg of the next stage of the competition. And I think getting into like the other 9 positions now, that I think we've nailed 2 of them at least. I think I'll go Mount for the. We'll do mine and then we'll do yours. Or we can actually know. Do you want to take us through like what the rest of your team would be for the Porto game?
The whole team.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously in the goalkeeper will be in post will be Mendy, and then in defense, I think we've spoken about the defense already. So Rudiger, Aspi, and Christensen. No, okay, Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva will come back. So Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
Thiago Silva instead of Christensen. And then right in front of him, I'll go with Kante and Kovacic. And then the wing backs will be, wow, this is difficult. Yeah, Chilwell. Chilwell did very, very well. Like, Chilwell did very, very well for England, right? He did very well for England during the.
Yeah, he did.
I think he played
did.
every game for you guys.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think he played 2 out of 3. I think there was one where Shaw started ahead of him, but
he didn't play the last game. I think he played the last game against Poland.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he
so he missed the second one because he was there for the first one. Okay. Yeah, he did very well. So I mean, Chilwell will also be. I think Chilwell would have been better today than even Alonso, because Alonso also had some dodgy performance, like dodgy decisions today as well. And then so Alonso, Chilwell, and then on the right James, and then forward Ziyech definitely, and then Mount, and then Giroud. But hopefully Tammy comes on at some point.
It's interesting. You know how you said about Kante? I don't know if we talked about it earlier, but I think Tuchel said.
I think you said it. I think you mentioned it.
So that Kante is. I mean, he was asked about Kante, and Tuchel said that he would probably miss it at least the first leg. So
yeah. So if Kante can play, for me, Billy Gilmore has to be there. Really has to be there. I don't think we can. I don't. I strongly feel that I have this feeling that Tuchel won't play Billy Gilmore if Kante isn't available. We might see a Jorginho Kovacic thing again. So, which is a bit disappointing. But I mean, if Kante can play, for me, Billy should play.
Yeah, I agree. I really do want to see Gilmore get the chance. I'm not sure if it's a game too big for him, but I don't think there is a game too big for him. But I really do hope that Gilmore gets the chance. He does deserve it, and I it's just a point of principle that Jorginho has had an awful performance, and yeah, the standards are high at Chelsea, and Tuchel's been he's been harsh, or not harsh, but he's been very critical of certain other players in the team when they've been making mistakes or not playing great. Circa Tammy and Cho, like subbing off Cho when he'd been subbed on. So I expect him to be as critical of Jorginho, but at the same time, he has to weigh that up with his only other option is to play someone who's not really played much football against top teams. So yeah, it is a bit of a risk. And I want to see Gilmore, but I do think Jorginho will play. And other than that, I would go with the exactly same team as you. Because, Thiago Silva needs to play. He only had 28 minutes or so it'd be nice and fresh. And Rudiger needs to absolutely come back in. I don't want to see Zuma play for quite a bit because, I think it's quite clear at the moment that Rudiger's. I mean, maybe if Rudiger played against West Brom, we'd probably say as well that he was awful. But at the moment, he's been putting in extremely solid performances as well as Christensen. So yeah, really want to see him back. And yeah, I think I can't really think of anything else to say about the Porto game, really, other than it's just a huge game and that we really, really need to see a reaction from, particularly in the midfield, but I need to see different changes as well. And we can't just play the same team and expect the same or expect a completely different result.
Yeah, exactly. And also we need the midfielders to start at least contributing to goals. Like we lack that a lot. And like I said earlier on, if Kovacic only I think as we said it, I said it before we started recording. If Kovacic could score goals, like this guy would be unstoppable. Like I think Lampard said it earlier on this season, or I think late last season, that Kovacic needs to add like goal scoring to his abilities. Anytime he takes a shot, it doesn't even faze me anymore. Like I think to be more of a surprise if he scores than if he doesn't score. And it's weird. He plays very, very well. He's able to get in very good positions, but he can't take shots. He can't score goals for some reason. And it's weird because Jorginho, if you look at Jorginho's performances before he joined Chelsea, I think there was some times that he was scoring goals outside of the box, and even his first goal for Chelsea was outside of the box. So I don't understand why our midfielders don't take shots. They don't really attempt shots, apart from Mount, who else? I think Ziyech's shot is always blocked somehow. It doesn't even make it past his feet, far from his feet, and then it's blocked. And Werner too can take shots for some reason. It's always blocked or it's always saved. It's only Mount that usually gets it through. And if he gets it through, it's sometimes he scores, sometimes but we need more people to be doing that. Like back then, we had a lot of, like almost every midfielder we had was taking shots. Like Mikel was even trying shots at some point. Mikel wasn't able to score goals, but he was even trying shots at some point. ACN, we know about ACN. We know Lampard. We know Ballack. Like they were all taking shots. They were trying to score, but for some reason, everything has just been left to the strikers, and the strikers are not also performing well, and it's just weird. If we added goal scoring to the like our game, like the midfielders games, like man, we will be doing very, very, very well.
Do you know that Mason Mount had the most shots of anyone on the Chelsea team, even though he came on only as a sub? To be fair, he did come on at half time, but still, I think that the second most shots was Zuma, which is a little weird. But I think I do remember that there were a couple of crosses. I think a couple of corners where it kind of led late to Zuma at the back post, and he would just sky it. So that doesn't surprise me entirely. But I totally get.
I think he even had a chance. Sorry, he even had a chance to make it 4-3. I think, and then he was very close to the goalpost. I think it was practically him and the goalkeeper, and he just skied it.
Ziyech didn't even take a shot today. It was quite bad. But I understand you. It's just like none of our forward players are taking enough shots, and also our midfielders aren't. I mean, can't really contributing to goals. In fairness, though, I mean, yes, Jorginho had a disaster class, but he did play a ball over the top that which played Alonso through on goal. Sorry, and then put the cross in, but it doesn't make up for his disaster class, but it's just putting it out there. So we need to see more of that, and I mean, I'd like to see Kovacic putting in a second half like performance that he put in against West Brom, but against the full 90 minutes against Porto, and with Billy or even Kante, maybe if he does magically able to come back. But other than that, I don't really have much else to say on Porto. Do you? Yeah, anything else you'd like to stress?
No, not really. I just hope we win and then we qualify to the semis,
the
semis, right? Or the
semis.
The semis.
Oh, it's good to say that. It's good to finally have. It's always good to have games where there's something really at stake. It's also much more stressful, but it's also, I think it's, especially in the Champions League, we miss this. We spent so many years finishing in the last 16 and getting knocked out, but there's finally a path to perhaps maybe with a slim chance get to the final, but there's more immediate steps to take to even start thinking about that. Is there anything else? I mean, we can talk a little bit about the international break, where I'm aware that I think on the pod we'll probably be running into the 1 hour and 10 minute mark now. But I mean, do you want to? Should we?
I mean, it would have been fun talking about it if we had won today, because it will kind of give us a hope. Like if we probably recorded before today or something, it would have been better, because it will give us some hope for the players' performances. Or even if we had won today, to give us hope for the players who didn't play today, because I think almost all of them did very well during the international break. Even those who are not even playing, who are Chelsea players but were not playing for Chelsea. I think Baba Rahman scored a goal for Ghana in our AFCON qualifiers. So our players generally did good. So it was nice to think that they will bring that performance straight into the Chelsea squad, and then we get a shambolic performance today. So I think it's that necessary talking about it, because the players didn't really they didn't really perform today. So
it's fair. It's it would have been nice to talk about the international break. I mean, certain good performance. Like, it was really nice to see Mount really flourish on the international stage. I think he started the past 7 games in a row for England now, and getting his goal as well was great to see. And then Havertz as well. I think I've got to say that Germany kit that they have, the away, the all black, is quite beautiful. And I'd love to see Havertz getting the goal and assist for that, and Rudiger also playing well. I think getting other than the North Macedonia game, which we don't talk about that, where Werner he missed a couple of chances, and that was a bit of a shocker, but for a lot of the Germany team. But other than that, it was a really positive international break. So to have this kind of result dampen the spirits, a bit of a shock. It's a bit of a shock to the system. But I think against Porto, we'll be back, and it'll be really interesting to see how Tuchel deals with this car crash, deals with this bump in the road / car crash, and really looking forward to a good performance at least on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I think that kind of sums up the mood at Chelsea at the moment, and the mood of myself and my reliable co-host as usual, Amart. So yeah, I think we're going to call it there, and we'll catch you on the next podcast, which should come out probably before our game against, I think it's Crystal Palace at the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pod will be out before that. The next pod will be out before then, and you will have your beautifully sounding Mohammad back as well. So stay tuned for that one as well. And if you have got to the end of this video, I would also encourage you to give us a like and a subscribe if you want to see more podcasts, as it really shows some of this appreciation for how much work goes into editing the outtakes of Amart saying that London is
blue.
Sorry. And also some of my numerous attempts at introducing each podcast. So yeah, we'll catch you on the next podcast, and hope you have a good one. Goodbye.